All right, here's some news that's going to come as a shock, I'm sure, to you. The Metropolitan Expressway is a mess, and it's not holding up very well after all these years. You may have read recently the story about a contractor who had done some work only about a year or so ago, who will now have to go back and redo the work because he was using substandard asphalt.
Awesome.
But don't worry, it's at his expense. You know, the question about what to do with the Met, I think we've probably been asking this for at least the last 20 years. And the sad part is, I'm not laughing, is nothing gets done. Rick LECKNER, of course, is our CJAD 800 traffic guru. Rick, I know we've talked about this in the past. I saw you on TV talking about this the other day. And the fact that's perhaps most galling here is just that. It's been talked about for so long. It's been acknowledged by municipal governments that it has to get done, yet nothing gets done. So why?
Priorities. And it's very frustrating. If you talk to some of the key people at Transport Quebec, they'll tell you that it's structurally sound and it could withstand the capacity that it's currently enduring for some time yet. There's a question of dollars. There was an article that was written today in the Gazette about the tunnel. That will never happen, by the way. The tunnel in Quebec City may happen. I mean, we don't want to get too cynical about, political ramifications here, but I don't see anything happening with the Metropolitan for a while. And when it does, it is going to be one unholy mess. And a perfect example of that is that currently they're doing the LaFontaine Tunnel, and I speak to people who tell me it takes them anywhere from 2 to 3 hours every afternoon to go from Montreal to the South Shore because there's a lane closed due to the construction during the week.
So, I remember we were anticipating that with the Turcotte, too, right? That it would absolutely paralyze the city. And it did at times, but isn't the idea here the same old, Rick, with the, short-term pain for long-term gain? Although I know the pain feels like long-term.
Long-term gain. It's 20, 30 years.
That's
a lot of long-term pain.
This thing is, first of all, as many accounts have indicated, very poorly designed. And as I indicated on a number of occasions as well, with exits and entrances which crisscross each other, it's just a flawed design which has unfortunately not endured the test of time nor the test of traffic. And given as we have discussed in the past, the agenda of the governments, both municipal and provincial, vis-a-vis automobile traffic versus public transit, the money's not going there. I would hope like heck that it will go there for safety reasons eventually, but when it does, the current plan is more of the same. From a constructability standpoint, doing a tunnel is the best thing, which means that you could probably do the tunnel similar to a big dig, which would cost untold billions by the time it's finished, but maintain the expressway above, which would obviously lessen the impact on traffic.
Wait a sec. I'm trying to understand this. First of all, elevated structures have apparently lost their luster. Everybody's against anything that goes straight up in the sky vis-a-vis the REM. People bring that up about the Metropolitan. What if we knock the whole thing down and start it all over again?
What's the alternate? If you do, the problem, that's probably the best suggestion, but again, without a beltway or a ring road, where are we going to put all that traffic? At least 125,000 vehicles a day, and most of which are trucks. I mean, I traveled the Metropolitan yesterday. I had a meeting out in the east end of the city, and I just marvel at the number of large trucks on the Metropolitan, which I'm sure half of which don't want to be there, don't need to be there. But we don't have that option. Right. So to tear the whole thing down and start over, I can't see how they're going to do that.
But what about all the stuff that's underneath the Met, like where people sometimes park cars? Correct. That's like all dead space. So what if you, I don't know, what if
level
you left...
Just level it.
No, what if you didn't leave it? What if you just left the upper portion there, and that's for cars, and the lower portion would only be for trucks? Does that not solve the same thing?
I'm not sure that because of the supports that are there, I'm not sure they could do that. They still need the abutments, et cetera.
And if we take politics out of all of this, and...
If we what?
Where do you live, Natasha?
Let's say in some dream, magical unicorn world,
yes.
We can take politics out of this. Is the tunnel actually the best solution here?
Well, in terms of, as I said, the constructability, which is the engineering term for the efficiency and the effectiveness which you can build something, I would say the answer is yes. And it would last longer, and it would be far less of an impact on pollution, because you wouldn't have trucks and cars sitting and idling on the Metropolitan as they do for so many hours every day. But it's a cost factor as well. And, if you go back, everybody makes the comparison between the Big Dig in Boston, which started off, I think, in the 80s at a $2.5 billion price tag, and by the time interest and everything was tacked on, it ended up being 10 times that amount. And, but right now they're talking about a tunnel, excuse me for being cynical, they're talking about a tunnel between downtown Quebec City and Lévis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for a huge
amount of money. Is it needed? I'm not saying it's not needed, but it'll never politically, and that's the final decision, politically it'll never, ever happen here, at least not with the current government.
All right, look, I need some good. Well, I need some good news here. I mean, you're painting a pretty bad picture, and people who are on that road realize how bad it is. What's the potential for possibly something happening? Are you saying it's just simply not going to happen? We have to live with this forever?
No, I don't think we'll live with it forever. It has to be fixed, but I've been told by some engineers who I know with Transport Quebec that it's safe. Okay, and actually, one of the gentlemen I spoke to, I've known for years. I trust him, I believe him, and if he says it's safe, I believe that. But the thing has to be eventually rebuilt, and they announced in 2020, 2 years ago, that this would be done in 2 phases, but they've never said when, and they've been dramatically quiet about this ever since.
Okay. I don't know. I try to understand this. I know there are people who travel that road every day, and it's a bad road to begin with. But it would seem to me, Rick, there's going to be all this added traffic now right around where DeCarry meets the Met, right? The big development going on there.
It's going to get worse.
Does this, the way it stands now, even if they wanted to, could they make that road even wider, or are we limited by space?
I believe we're limited by space, and that's the issue.
So what I'm gathering from all of this is that we need to come up with a plan to create this dreamlike magical unicorn world. That's really the only solution.
But there are little things that can be done. I'll tell you, I've been getting complaints about, and it's mind-boggling how things can be improved and yet aren't, and can be done in a simple way. I've been getting complaints about the service road of the Metropolitan, just around Stinson, around the railroad overpass, the potholes, and how that backs up traffic every morning. Yeah. We're into almost June, and those potholes haven't been filled. Alan D'Souza is the mayor of St. Laurent. He's a great guy. I texted him this morning. He wasn't aware of it. He said he'll get on it. Let's see if they fix it. But why do they have to be told to do this?
Why aren't there pothole spotters or pothole inspectors? Inspectors for everything
We're not
else.
talking about a residential street. We're talking about a service road to one of the most heavily traveled expressways in the city.
I have one last question. We got to go. And I remember reading a story like this a couple of years ago, and I bring up the case of the work that's going to have to be redone on that section of the Met where the contractor used substandard asphalt, which is mind blowing, but so typically Quebec. Why are roads, and I don't want to get into a debate here because I know you and I agree, but this idea that as soon as you cross the border into Ontario, the roads are better, the roads are different, they don't degrade the way ours do. Do we not have the same requirements, specifications for asphalt here as they do there? Is there actually a difference?
Not to my knowledge, but I haven't. I mean, it's a question that is very difficult to answer, and some of the answers I'd rather not consider.
I don't know what that means, but
it seems like it shouldn't be a difficult question to answer.
It shouldn't be a difficult answer. Yeah. We had a Charbonneau Commission, as we have discussed, and a lot of information came out during that as to how things were built. Again, I use the example, if you travel the Laurentian Autoroute north of St. Jerome, why should there be ruts in a roadway that once you plant your car in there, it's very difficult to extricate yourself from? Yeah. It's absurd. It's absurd.
I don't know. I read that they dig their highways deeper, like an inch or whatever, deeper in Ontario than they do here. And when I try to talk to someone about it, they didn't want to talk about it. But it seems to me, as I said, and it's not news, Rick, the border, you cross into Ontario, the roads are actually a whole lot better than they are here.
You're absolutely right. Whether you travel into Ontario or whether you travel into the United States, there's a night and day difference, unfortunately, in the way things are built.
Okay.
Listen, Rick, before we let you go, I have to tell you, I met your daughter, Heather, last night.
Yes, thank you.
At the Seagull Center. And so she's known as Miss LECKNER to the kids. My daughter's bestie's in her class and asked your daughter to attend their theater performance last night. And that's how amazing a woman Heather LECKNER is. She showed up to see her students. Well done. I just want to say what a pleasure to meet her.
She's a great lady, a great teacher. And I was going to ask you how you enjoyed the play.
Loved every minute of it. I mean, I cried most of it. Every time my daughter or even any kid opened their mouth to sing, I was like, it was great. Fantastic.
Wonderful.
All right.
Yeah.
Rick, thank you.
We'll have many more conversations. By the way, just before we
Yeah.
do let you go, I did have another conversation yesterday with our friend Mr. Zubris.
Oh.
He heard our conversation last time. He's promised to get back to me about some of the issues of crossing the Carry.
Oh, what a nightmare that is. Jeez.
You know what we need to do? We need to get him and me with you on the air one day.
Oh, let's do that.
The three of us, you mean?
The four of us.
I'm sorry. Yeah, so you mean Natasha, myself, you, and Jimmy Zubris.
Correct.
Okay. And then I can bring up my thing now, which is not a complaint about the roads. I don't understand why metro stations here do not have names on them. So my suggestion is put the name of the damn metro station up and put a color for what line it's on, blue, yellow, green, whatever. Because, you want to tell someone where to go. You're like, go to that station on the corner. It has a name, but it's not on the outside of the building. It doesn't make any sense.
Send in an email to Mr. Schnaub. He's a pretty responsive guy, and it's an excellent suggestion.
I'm going to go through Jimmy first in case he yells at me. All right, Rick, thank you.